Welcome into the Cam and Strick podcast, episode number 52.
Ooh.
How was your weekend?
I ate sushi. Spent about $200 at sushi.
You act like that's a big deal. Why do you have to throw out how much money you spend at the sushi place?
Because it's fucking expensive, and I spent $200, and Kate had like a fucking, a St. Louis roll where I had 3 things of sake, 3 big fucking Sapporos. I had some.
So you don't eat sushi, you just drink the whole time.
I had some ikara. I eat everything at sushi, man. I'm like, give me that fucking salmon egg. Give me that bad boy right there. I'll eat everything on this goddamn table. And then I look at my bill, and it's like fucking $350.
I don't take you as a sushi person. I love sushi. I could eat sushi all day long. I could eat unlimited sushi.
Andy, let me stop you, homie. I was staying in the Residence Inn in Jersey, and I ate sushi every fucking day at Yoshi Sauno. And I went down there, and we would drink and eat till about 3 in the afternoon. At 12, we get done at practice 11:30. Get there at 12:30. We'd eat till they closed down in the afternoon because sushi places closed down in the afternoon, but they stayed late for us. And then we go to another bar, and then we'd party till about 9 o'clock at night. And then all the older guys would go home to their wives, and the younger guys would go out all night. And I was part of that group. So it was a long session every single day. So sushi was a part of that.
Last night, Cam sends me a text. He goes, "Look what I'm making." And your meatloaf looked like shit. I gotta tell you this
fucking
right
dog
now.
shit.
It looked terrible.
Fucking
like,
gave me,
what is that?
It gave me hepatitis. That's what it did. I got hepatitis A through fucking Z now because I made my own fucking meatloaf. I'm done with it.
Dude, a meatloaf
I'm done with it.
Isn't supposed to look like that.
It looked like shit.
It looked like a rolling hill.
Probably going to still eat it today because I don't want to go to the grocery store. But god damn it, it looks like shit and it tasted like shit. Fuck me. I agree with you.
Did you go to a restaurant to have your sushi?
Yeah. I'm not making my own sushi.
So
dude, I tried that bullshit
I've made my own sushi, dude.
Wait, all that means if you make your own sushi, you're fucking cheap.
No, I go out for sushi, cheap. But I have made it. My kids like making it.
Oh, cool. Your kids don't like sushi. Who are you kidding?
Oh, my God.
You're fucking cheap.
Dude.
Fuck you.
You have no idea.
Go to a fucking sushi joint, sit down, have some hot sake, baby, chill out, kick your feet up, and let them work for you. You're going to make your own shit, probably fucking taste like shit, and you're pissing out of your ass all night. Fuck that.
Make my kids well-rounded. Okay?
No, they're not well-rounded. They're like,
age.
I don't want to eat this shit again. This is like healthy stuff. And my stomach hurts. I hate you, Daddy. Give me McDonald's. You fucked them over.
I made some unbelievable enchiladas, by the way. The Strict Daddy enchiladas.
Yeah, they look like your dog puked over the fucking
That's
place.
what you said, man. That wasn't very nice of you to say that.
I don't give a shit.
I got this Mexican cheese. I forgot what it's called. Cojita?
It looked like shit.
Cojita? What is it called?
I'm not eating that.
What kind of cheese is that?
No one knows.
And you crumble it on top, dude. It looked like it was from a restaurant.
It looked like your fucking baby dog just puked all over the fucking place and then came back and drank a bunch of tequila and came back and puked again. And then you fucking ate it and gave it to your kids. That's not very nice. That's not very nice of you. Make a better fucking enchilada. And if you want to post it on Facebook, then do it. There's a reason why you didn't post it on Facebook. Because it looked like your dog fucking puked.
I don't post food on Facebook. I'm not one of them.
I just
likes.
You need some likes on Facebook. So I
don't post on Facebook hardly ever.
Oh, well, you too cool for it?
No, I just don't do it. Yeah. Facebook, I just don't get that much into. You know, Facebook is it's like where my mom's friends follow me, and like people who are 70 years. I've got friends who are on Facebook, but
why are you hanging out with older women?
No, dude.
Why are you hanging out with older women? My buddy's like fucking 28
my
with
bosses from work. It's like it's not.
Well,
really,
then fucking find new friends, brah.
No,
you want to check my friend list out? They're all making a ton of money, and they're like, "What's up, Cam? What do you got going? I'm gonna like every shit you got. Get new friends, Andy."
Dude. I have friends on Facebook. I'm just saying, a lot of the people who follow you on Facebook aren't people.
Are the same people.
That's
that
why I
follow
like
you on
Instagram. That's why I
else.
like Instagram and Twitter better. Facebook is for
Instagram's
old people,
sexy.
dude. Do you not know that? Facebook's for old people.
In your group, I don't hang out with old people, dude.
Who do you hang out
with? I don't
with?
even know any old people, really. Except for the chick at the gas station at Shell in Eureka, and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" She doesn't even know my fucking name.
The lady that yelled at you?
She doesn't even know my name. I've been there for 25 years, 40 years, 25 years. I'm in this gas station. She still cards me for chewing tobacco. Should I chew? No, I shouldn't chew. Does Kate like me chew? No. Is it a sex appeal? No. But I still do it, and I need to quit. But I go in there. There's a lineup out the wazoo. There's coronavirus going out the wazoo, and then she wants me to get my fucking ID out of my goddamn wallet, and I'm like, I gotta touch this thing, and then you touch it, and then you give it back to me. What the fuck is the point of this whole plexiglass in front of us? And you touch my ID. I'm 58 years old. I'm actually 35. I'm 58 years old, and you still card me? I've been here for 30 years buying beer. Get on with yourself, woman.
What's your suggestion for people who are looking for something to do for 4th of July? You know, because not everything's open. It's still kind of Corona.
Quarantine yourself.
What do you suggest for 4th of July?
Are
you heading down to the lake?
I might. No, I don't do the Lake of the Ozarks on holiday weekends because it's too choppy. It's too crazy down there. I don't want to get... It's just not fun. Mm-hmm. But if I suggest something, go to the fireworks store, find a field. Do you have anybody that has acreage somewhere? Take your kids, pack a cooler, pack some food, get some fireworks, and go to a field and shoot fireworks off and jam out the music. If you want to wear a fucking mask, then do it. No one's around you. Don't make out with a bunch of people. Don't be like Woodstock 69 where it's like you're fucking having sex and dog shit and feces. Don't do that. That's how diseases happen. If you want to take your kids and have a nice little gathering and shoot fireworks off in the field, then so be it, baby.
I feel like the country is becoming divided between people who want to wear a mask and people who don't want to wear a mask.
I think people...
There's a lot of anger going around between people who are wearing masks and people who aren't wearing them.
Just wear a mask. If you can, just wear a mask.
Just wear one.
Just wear one. I get that. I get it. Kate and I got yelled at the other day for being in a gas station for not wearing a mask. I took it like a man. And I'm not going to chirp you back.
I've seen you get beat up by an old lady before, by the way. And Kate, come to your defense.
Are we going to talk about this right now?
We might later.
Are we going to talk about this?
Maybe some other time.
Okay. Well, don't bring it up if we're not going to talk about it. Because now people are going to think I'm getting beat up by old ladies.
Well, it did happen. It did happen.
It was at a Stanley Cup party.
And she attacked you physically.
Was it an overreaction? Just explain that so people don't think that I'm fighting old women, Andy, for fuck's sake.
Cam was trying to get in the middle of a confrontation.
I'm trying to get in the middle of these two fucking moron Hoosiers fighting each other at a Stanley Cup party, and I got to jump in and separate it, and then she grabs me by the neck like I'm a fucking piece of fuck.
This old lady comes and jumps on Cam, and now Kate's involved.
Oh, my God. Kate never gets involved. She's the most... Just sit, and she's a princess, and she sits there, and she doesn't do anything. But once some fucking old hag grabs me by the goddamn throat and embarrasses me when I'm trying to help that fucking broad out by breaking up this fight that's so ridiculous anyway, and then she grabs me and fucking cuts my throat open with her fucking nails that probably have hepatitis A through Z on them, fuck you. Embarrassing ass shit. Kate got pissed. Kate got pissed on that, as she should.
Yeah, she did get mad. All right, let's turn the
Jesus
subject.
Christ, why'd you even bring that up?
Well, I just brought it up because whatever. You mentioned old lady. I've seen you get attacked by old ladies before. I feel like old ladies get mad at you all the time.
No, they don't. They love me. Except for that broad. I don't know why she did that. It was so ridiculous. I'm like, I'm just trying to help you. I'm good. No, you're not. I'm going to claw your fucking neck.
You think they're playing hockey?
Who? The old lady? Hell no.
The NHL. You think they're going to come back and play? I ask her this all the time. It kind of changes.
Fuck no.
You know, I reported over the weekend, Toronto, Vegas, the two front runners. Been a lot of reports since then about that, about the two front runners for the hub cities. I kind of feel a little bit like a loser even reporting it because we don't even know if we're even going to get there. I hope we do, man. I really do. I hope we see hockey. Of
course we do.
But this Corona thing is real. And, you know, I know that we've heard about some situations that exist with players who have tested positive, specifically at NHL facilities. But that doesn't mean we know everything about all the other players who aren't being tested by their NHL clubs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know. And
so the numbers are way higher than I think we probably realize.
It doesn't even matter. Look, if you get Corona and you don't even feel it, it doesn't matter. You're still quarantined for 2 weeks, okay? Like, you're still quarantined for 2 weeks. Imagine being in Vegas and you're sitting up there and you're, like, looking down. And we talked about this before, but you're like, what the fuck's going on? It's like everybody's having a party and you're stuck in your room with, again, some Russian guy.
But if you're going to go, dude, you just got to know, man.
Just suck it up.
You don't want to be the one guy that gets caught and all of a sudden just completely puts not just your team, but every other team at risk, dude.
Sit in a hotel room for 2 weeks. Go ahead. Sit in a hotel room for 2 weeks and don't move with a pocket full of cash. Sit in a hotel room for fucking 2 weeks in Vegas and look out the window and see fucking dime pieces.
Well, you know they're gonna have
dime pieces and thongs. Dime pieces and thongs. You're 22 years old and you're fucking single and you're looking down. You're seeing dime pieces staring at you like, I want you, and you're like, I can't do anything because I'm quarantined. Fuck that.
You know who I'd be watching? I'd pay attention to the guys that are like the Black Aces who are
There it is.
who are on the extended roster.
Yeah.
Who pretty much have no chance of
28
playing.
years old in the American League.
Unless there's like a serious, significant outbreak or serious, significant, injuries on your roster. Otherwise, in your head you have no chance of playing. You got to get up and go to the rink, got to practice every day. And those are the guys that may be like, dude, what are we doing?
You're a black
sitting
ace.
here?
You're 28 years old. You got about 500 in the bank. Fine, you've been grinding it. You're making good money in the American League. And you're like, I have no fucking chance of making this team to even have my name on the cup. If you're a black ace, your name's not even on a cup, by the way. I think a couple guys had even Delzato and Thorburn, are their names even on the cup?
I'd have to go back.
I don't think they are.
Well, they didn't technically qualify.
So they're not even black aces.
But teams can ask for an exception. Okay.
So they might
ask
have
for
an exception. So my point is, Thorburn didn't even play.
Like Jamal
how many
Mayer's
games
got
did he
his
play?
name on the cup. I think Jonathan Taves said, "Hey, we want to."
Yeah, but he played like 35 games that year and 40 games that year, right? And
well, no, he played a bunch of games, but he didn't play a game in the final.
So what? But if you get past 35 games throughout the year, you're automatically on it. Just like, and yes, you are, Andy.
I think you have to play a game in the final.
Andy, no, you're wrong. I went through this in 2012. If you play over a certain amount of games, no matter what, you're on that fucking. Your name's going to be on the cup, and my name was on the cup in 2012 because I played a certain amount of games that year. But if I'm a black ace, which you never played a fucking game the whole year, and all of a sudden you're up and you're just getting bagged every single day. You barely get any money. You're rebellious as shit, and all of a sudden you're in Vegas in a fucking tournament that's coronavirus out the fucking zoo, and you got fucking $500 in the bank. You're 28 years old, and now you're stuck in a goddamn away from your family, and you're looking outside, and you're like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm not leaving. You're crazy. My name's not on the cup, and I gotta still pull this shit.
So those are the guys I'd pay attention
That's what
to.
I'm saying.
But you know what? If you get caught, dude, you're gonna look about as bad as you
You're
possibly
gonna look normal.
can
is what you're gonna look.
No, you're gonna look
you're
bad,
gonna
man.
look.
You're putting your team at risk, and you're also
Is that
staying.
your team?
You're staying in a bubble.
You're 28
with,
years old.
with how many other teams? Right?
I know. I get
and you're
that.
putting everybody at risk. So
Yeah,
you
well,
gotta make sure you don't. Get
I'm
caught.
not saying I do it, which I probably.
No, you probably would, man.
Well, who are you kidding? You're probably right. But the point is, it is going to be a bizarre situation. I just don't see it going through all the way. That's it. And you guys could chirp me all you want, and that's fine. I'm wrong all the time. Hopefully I'm wrong again, but fuck.
I think you may have been wrong about a couple of things here. I got to double check. I wish we had a fact checker.
Oh God!
Right
I'm
now.
fucked.
I'm gonna double check this.
Why would
Stanley Cup eligibility?
I'm not
for
a
you.
fact kind of guy. Whatever that means.
All right, hockey season starting for the kids right now, Cam.
Yeah.
What's your advice to these crazy, whacked out, crazy
You
ass
guys all
parents
suck.
right now?
That's my
okay?
advice. You all suck. If your mom, okay, let me give you something. If your kid's not playing, if your kid is sitting games out, your kid's not getting ice time, and you're bitching and moaning, there's something that's going on. So there's a reason why he's not fucking playing. Well, he scored a goal, Cam. My son Johnny scored a goal. I don't give a fuck. He's minus fucking 2, and his shifts were 2.5 minutes long.
With bad body language.
With bad fucking body language. Well, my kid's. I don't give a fuck. He doesn't stop on pucks. He's a pussy. He doesn't go into corners. He doesn't win battles. He fucking scored a goal off his toe.
Sulks.
He sulks on the bench. He bitches. He doesn't talk to his teammates. That's why. Evaluate your kids. It's not about the coach. You think the coach doesn't want to play a good player to make him look better? Get on with yourself.
How should the parents act? That's what I want to know. How should the parents act?
Shut the fuck up. Don't say a fucking word. You don't know shit about hockey. The one thing I will give you, just like my father. My father didn't know shit about hockey. But
Dennis?
My dad didn't know anything about hockey. We both didn't. Mm-hmm. But I was dominating. I was doing my thing. I was getting a lot of attention. And he was getting a little bit. He steered away from everybody. He knew he didn't know hockey. The one thing he did know, he knew me. He knew his son. And he knew how I was. And if I was in a weird way, there's a reason for that. That's fine. But every fucking shift I got sat on, every game I got sat out on, even when I was in AAA, all the way up to my last game in professional hockey, there's a reason for everything. Everything. A reason why I sat, because I didn't get the puck out of the zone. Oh, all my buddies in St. Louis, like, you're the best, you're fighting guys. Yeah. I didn't get the fucking puck out of the zone. And I haven't scored in fucking 8 months. That's why I'm sitting. You could chirp Andy Murray all you want. I haven't scored in 8 months. They got these young kids.
How embarrassing was that for you when your buddies would sit behind the bench
Oh, God.
and chirp the head coach in the National Hockey League? Would you ever tell them to shut the fuck up?
Oh,
or no?
my God. They would chirp them. Oh, my God. They would all sit behind the bench, right? And Andy's sitting there, and Andy wouldn't even play me all game. And Brian McGrattan's running around. And I'm like looking at Andy like, let me go him. And the most stressful thing in the world is waiting to fight a guy that's 6'6". Like, fuck, it was horrible. And I get why Andy did that. No, maybe I don't get why Andy did that. But I get why I wouldn't play a game.
I've got a lot of Andy Murray stories, too.
I know, but right when the game was over, we lost 8-0. And I didn't even get a shift to fight Brian McGrattan when we're down by 4. And my buddies would bash Andy Murray so fucking bad. And I'd walk, and we'd get undressed, and then I'd walk out where the wives' lounge was. And then finally Andy would walk out.
The wives.
Whatever the fuck. And Andy would walk out, and he'd see the same people bashing him so bad. And
all
he'd look,
getting into your car.
And all getting into my Expedition. And he's like, oh, I'm going to put 2 and 2 together. You're not playing for the next 3 games. And I kind of understand that.
He would do that to you, too.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Should we get him on?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, let's get his ass
I'm going
on.
to get Andy Murray on.
Let's get him on.
I mean, he's got an unbelievable memory, dude, of some of that stuff.
So,
too.
hey, all you parents, man, lay it off. There's a reason why your kid's
Pump
not
the
playing.
brakes, man.
Pump the fuck. You don't know fucking
Enjoy
shit.
the ride. Enjoy
all
the
you.
ride.
My dad has seen every second of my life when it comes to hockey, when it comes to sitting out, when it comes to transactions, when it comes to fucking everything. And he still doesn't know. And he still doesn't know. So you fucking parents... You parents that think my son's the best because I'm a wealthy person from fucking Chesterfield and I want to look cool in front of my other... Fuck you. Your kid's a pussy and he's not good. That's why he's not playing. There's always a reason why. And I know I'm extreme and I'm being a little extreme and I'm sorry about that.
Sorry.
But if you parents, there's always a reason why your kid's not playing. Shut the fuck up and let him play and listen to the coach.
All right. That's your advice from Cam.
Pussy. He's a pussy.
You put a video out Sunday night for Car Shield.
Yeah. I look good.
Dude.
Okay, my shirt was a little
your
tight.
Your shirt.
Okay, my shirt was a little tight.
You're nipping out.
Oh, and it was hot out, too.
It's
Imagine
terrible.
It was cold.
It is absolutely terrible and most uncomfortable thing to look at. The best thing about it is that you're promoting Car Shield.
Yes.
A lot of people watch that video. And we got a lot of reaction on that video. I swear to God when I say this, and I'm not even joking, my kid has the exact same shirt. Like, you're wearing an Under Armour golf shirt. Can we please upgrade your clothes? Today you got a Codigo shirt. Like, you just pay you to wear whatever clothes somebody gives you. Is
Why
that
am I
what it
taking
is?
this? Why am I taking this?
Is that what it is? You played in the show. Go buy yourself some new clothes.
Sorry, I'm jacked. Blame my fucking parents for that. They created me. I can't help I'm fucking jacked. I don't even work out and I'm jacked. Sit down, son. That's not from Ty. And if that was from Ty and you wore it, you'd be swimming in it. So sit your ass down. Motherfucker.
How many takes did it take for that?
2.
Is that it?
2 takes.
You did pretty good on that.
I'm pretty good at that.
I'm going to tell you, you did
I'm pretty
good.
fucking good, man. I'm pretty good.
I mean, I wouldn't let it get to your head. I wouldn't let it get to your head. I know, like somebody said to you on Twitter, they said, "Hey, nice job on that." You said, "I know."
I do know.
And you know what else we know? Car Shield, you're not fucking around about that.
No,
though, right?
Dude, Andy, the easiest goddamn thing in the world. I don't know why everybody has Car Shield. Seriously, you pay a little bit a month, and all of a sudden shit goes down. You're like, what do I do? Fucking call them up. You're like, what? Where do you want to put the car? Oh, I have a place right down the road. Okay, well, call them. They set it up. They pick your car up. They take it right there. They fix it, and it's over.
And they pay for your rental.
They pay for everything. It's psychotic. They're fucking awesome. This happened to me firsthand in Eureka, Missouri, where everybody's driving by. They know my truck, and my fucking starter wouldn't work. I look like a fucking hillbilly. And Kate's like, what do we do? I'm like, I don't know. Oh, yeah, Car Shield. Just, I called them up. Like, we got it 2 seconds. Keep it right there, Cam. Keep it right there. You're okay. Cam, calm down, Cam. You're okay, baby. You're okay. All right, well, what are you going to do with it? Take it up right there. Done. A day later, I get it back. It was the easiest goddamn thing in the world. Check out Car Shield. I swear to God, it was the easiest thing in the world.
All right, 800-857-2481. Call Car Shield today. Mention the promo code CAM.
CAM.
CAM. You'll save yourself 10%. Again, 800-857-2481. You know, that video means you got to make one for Gadget Lab, too, now.
I'm going to hook them up. Look, David Long the other day, who's an unbelievable guy, runs the show over there at Gadget Lab. So he sends out a Facebook post and he's like, "Hey Cam," or he said something out like, "Hey, if you have a broken," and I'm looking at it while I'm barbecuing. I drop my fucking phone and it cracks. I'm like, "Oh, that's a sign, Andy. That's a sign," and it shows me that Gadget Lab is there and they're ready to rock and roll. If you're a big company and you have all this old tech where everybody's like not producing because they have to wait 20 minutes to get their email, you suck. Take all that shit and trade it in, and they'll give you new shit, and they'll buy it for a great price. They're the real deal. Gadget Lab.
Top dollar they pay you for your used phones and tablets. And if you have a one of those watch phones, you ever see those people who just answer the phone on their watch?
Yeah, I don't like them.
Does that bother you?
Kind of a little bit.
Kind of annoying. I'm not a big watch texting type person.
You're not James Bond.
No,
Sit your ass down.
No. But if you have one and it doesn't work, they can fix that.
Yeah. Well, if you want to be James Bond, then I guess they'll fix it.
GadgetBuyback.com, that's the website. GadgetLabMobile.com is the website. If you are here locally in St. Louis, you want to check out their store in Oakville, then check out that site. That's GadgetLabMobile.com. Otherwise, GadgetBuyback.com. Any of you, no matter where you are listening from, you could be in Moose Jaw.
Oh, no, you could be in, like, southern Africa.
Dude, they love us in
Durban.
Alberta, by the way. I think we have the most fans in Alberta.
Now we have Great Britain.
Oh, Asia, all over.
I know.
I think we're the number 2 rated podcast in Italy right now.
It's a military
hockey
folk.
podcast.
It's a military folk. It's a
in
military
Italy.
folk.
We're big in Italy, so all the Italian people out there,
The military loves us,
listen,
dude.
check out GadgetBuyback.com, and everybody else here in North America, check that out. Of course, Bellman.com, BehlMann.com. Check out all their pre-owned inventory. Everyone wants a new car. Get a new car if you want a new car.
Fuck yeah.
But if you want a pre-owned car, they've got fucking hundreds of pre-owned vehicles to choose from.
I want Kate. So Kate's got a Jeep Grand Cherokee with that Hemi in that bad boy. She looks sexy as fuck in that thing, dude. And I'm like, I want to upgrade with this. I want to get her like, I think it's a ZRT or XRT. It's a Jeep Grand Cherokee with like a badass fucking engine in it, and it goes fucking fast as shit, and Kate will look sexy as shit in that bad boy. I'm gonna black that motherfucker out with black rims and a black ass, everything blacked out like she's fucking James Bond, but the female version. Jamesy. I guess it's Jamesy Bond. I don't give a shit. It's gonna be awesome. That's what the car I want for Kate, and they have it there.
Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie. Did I say Jamesy? Well, Jamie's our fucking producer, and he's a dude.
It goes either way.
Whatever.
With Jamie. Anyway, check out Bellman.com. Tell Dan Bellman, our boy, that we sent you in there.
Bad boy right
and
there.
Hook it up right there in Troy. And they've got tons of selection. They've got the Buick GMC Cadillac. I'm still hooking up that Escalade across the street. The Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. So don't go there and then tell me you don't know what to get. They don't have what you're looking for. Yes, they do. They've got everything you need in one spot over there.
And your wife can go there and I always say this all the time. I'm gonna say, but your wife could walk in there and feel comfortable. Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing worse than walking in with a bunch of dudes coming out like, ooh, hey, fuck you.
They're all like fighting inside. I got her.
I got this. Oh, look at this blonde. I'm gonna get this girl. Fuck you. You ain't doing shit. Bowman's fucking awesome, man. They make you feel comfortable, and that to me,
we got to get out there in the next week or two.
We're gonna do a video.
Let's go. We got to get out there to Bellman. Dan, we're on the way, man. We're coming. We're coming.
We love you.
All right, Wendel Clark. Very few guests. There's been a couple. The Eddie Belfours, the Tom Wilsons, the Jeremy Roenick's, the Eric Lindros. Man, I can go on and on and on. A bunch of guys who just, you're like, wow, this is going to be really cool to have this guy on. Wendel Clark fell into that category, dude. He's just a legend, icon.
Remember he calls on a guy. I go, Wendell, what's up?
Wendel Clark.
I call him Wendell. He was so cool, man. Like he's just like, hey guy, what's good? That's a House Springs accent. No, here's a Canadian one. Hey, no, that's totally no, it's.
Well,
they're no, I'm up in my cabin here. Hey guys,
how you doing? I can go right to the lake, or I can go left to the golf course.
What's going on, guys? How you doing? I'm an ambassador. I'm like, what the fuck does ambassador mean? That's the best job in the world.
What do they pay you in Toronto to be an ambassador?
$1 million a year, bro. I'd pay him a fucking
He's
million.
Wendel Clark. You better pay him $500,000.
He'll knock you out.
This guy he was a shit kicker, eh?
Fucking bad to the bone. Oh, we're gonna do a top 10.
Top 10 of just our guests.
We're gonna do a top 10.
We've had some good ones. If we put together a team, we'd have no defensemen. I think we've had one, Larry Robinson.
We gotta get some D-man on.
Somebody may have to drop back and play D.
So what? Robinson and Yandel can play fucking 60 or 90 anyway.
Yeah, they can.
There you go.
And never get hurt either.
There you go. Exactly. So anyway.
Yandel was cool, by the way.
Awesome.
He was cool, man. It was great having him on. Yeah. People are going to enjoy Wendel Clark, too, man. True legend. I had more people who I've told that we're getting him on. just their eyes light up.
I
They're like, dude, you guys got Wendell?
The fucking man.
Fucking right we did.
Bad
This
boy,
guy's the shit.
motherfucker. Knocked out Bruce Bell. Sit down, son.
He did, man.
And he talked about that.
He threw hard.
Fucking threw down the pipe, both hands. See ya.
He would dust you, dude.
I'll go home for 2 minutes.
Well, I know that.
No, you asked me that. And we're gonna get this.
Would
we
he?
don't have time. We don't have time. We're gonna discuss this when we throw the top 10 list out of the toughest guys we've had on the podcast. It's gonna be a big thing that we're gonna do. You'll see. It's already set to go. It's gonna cause controversy, but I don't give a shit. But Wendell was bad to the motherfucking bone, and he's ranked on that list, and you'll see.
All right.
Cool.
Wendel Clark, also known as Wendel Clark.
Yeah, that's the real name. But.
This dude's the man, and he's with us on the Cam and Strick podcast. Where are you right now? Are you up in the cottage or what?
I'm cottage bound. Yeah, I moved up here mid-March and just waiting for life to get going again.
Where's the cottage at?
I'm 2 hours north of Toronto in Muskoka.
You're with all the guys, right? A bunch of guys up there, right?
Yeah, there was more earlier. Then the kind of guys went away from it or just hadn't been, and then there's a lot of new guys coming back up again.
So what's cottage life? Like when I hear you say cottage, are we talking like a 6,000 square foot like house on the
cabin,
lake?
like
or
what?
Are we talking old school rustic? What are we looking at here?
Well, I'd have left by now if it was old school rustic. But no, yeah, everything's. Most people's cottages are in better shape than their homes that they live in up here.
Oh yeah, it's an escape, man. Like, are you a fisherman? What do? You just like the water?
No, I pretty much golf and a lot of water sports and all of the above, really, just everything. We started moving up this year because the hockey and everything ending. You started with the ice fishing, then went in watching the ice leave, and then got into the water sports.
So was Toronto your home? Like after your career, did you stay in Toronto? I mean, I don't know why you'd leave there considering your status in the community, but I mean, is that where you call home?
Yeah, no, Toronto. After I finished playing, I was fortunate after my third stint in Toronto in 15 years that I retired there and started working with the Leafs, and then I've been here ever since. So really, since 1985, I've been living in Toronto.
Ambassador role, like that's got to be the best job, right? I mean,
I want to be an ambassador.
Can I be an ambassador of something? Because what does that even mean, Wendell? You walk into a place, you say hey, you're shaking hands, you do this. You're not trading anybody. You're not doing any like calculations on how to get the salary cap right. Like it's a pretty easy gig, isn't it? Or am I wrong?
No, it's hard. But,
oh yeah, that's right. You guys
smiling?
It's great. The few of us that were doing it, I think we were sitting in a press conference a year ago, and we were saying, "Well, we've been through our third president, our sixth GM, and our fourth coach now." But see, we're as an ambassador, you're not on the line for any job decisions, so it's good that way. But the only downside is you don't make the big bucks like the coaches, the GMs.
Let me ask you this, because Holy. He's a ambassador here in St. Louis, and I always say when he comes down by our TV studio, I always say, "Holy, you gonna stick around and have a beer after the game?" He said, that would require me to stay for 3 periods." So do you stick around for the whole game? Do you watch the game? Are you into it or what?
Yeah, you know what? I've never sat. Actually, this year I watched a game in the stands for the first time in 15 years, or 20 years, I guess, retirement now. But really, you're in the building, you're schmoozing with everybody in the boxes, wherever they got you going. Might be before the game or after the game, or eating dinner with people or something. But really, we're just talking the game of hockey and being around. And during the game, you're waiting to see who you run into, and you may be staying after for a pop.
I bet you are. I bet you came and sit in the stands. That must be pretty difficult. People are trying to bug the hell out of you, I'm sure. But you're so used to that by now, it just probably doesn't even faze you. But do you ever think, Wendell, to get in and coaching and being maybe on the other side of things? I mean, with all the knowledge that you've gone through and, God, the things that you've done, do you ever want to kind of go on that other side of the table?
I think you think about it quite a bit, but you know that it's you're going to go 2 feet in. It's a 24/7, 12-month-a-year job now, and once you're out 20 years, like I've been, you're starting in another role, maybe a junior American League. You're working your way up through the process, so it's not like you say, okay, I want to go into the league now, and I'm going to be head coach of one of the teams. It doesn't work that way. So you got to you got to do the process and run the ropes to go up the ladder, and I think I'm a little long in the tooth for that now.
So when you're a ambassador for an organization like the Leafs, who just print money, are you making like Marner money, Matthews money? I mean, are they paying you big time money up there, Wendel, or what?
I'm making like 20-goal scorer in the 80s.
God, do you look at that now, Wendel, and be like, I mean, look at the way you played and how unique you were, even for the time, really, as an 18-year-old. Good Lord. I mean, do you look at the money thing and you're like, oh, my God, these guys, they're making a ton of money at the age 24. I mean, do you kind of, does it piss you off a little bit?
No, well, what have you ever thought about it? But really, it's just that's how the game's gone and how the game's grown and how much more money's in it. But you're happy with, we wouldn't have changed anything coming into the game. It was what it was at the time, and just say, hey, these guys are. We really didn't get a chance to make it until you're almost 28 to 30, yeah. And now it's kind of changed. You had to. In the old days, you got paid for what you did, and now you're getting paid for what you might do.
Yeah,
that's kind of how the contracts are going.
No, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to Saskatoon. Growing up, like, were you on a farm? Did anybody who lived in Saskatoon not grow up on a farm? And are you cousins with everybody? Barry Melrose, Joey Koser? Like, are you cousins with Chaser too? Like, what's going on there
yes.
with everybody being related up there in Saskatoon?
Well, the first guys you all mentioned, Joey and Barry and the Melrose and the Clarks and the Koshers, are all related.
Yeah.
Count of 900. Sooner or later, somebody's going to marry into something. So you're all related. And Chaser, he's from that suburb of Porcupine, suburb of Kelvington. So basically got together with Kelly. Kelly got coached by my older brother in Humboldt Broncos, and then Chaser and I started hanging out. I guess at 17, and we're inseparable there for a bunch of years as we were going through junior and early pro hockey.
And then his head got really big. I'll finish that for you. No, but don't tell my son that. But growing up when you were young, though, Wendel, like, were you tough as a 14, 15? Like, when did you really start putting the whole game together? You always had skill. You're a defenseman, but when did you have the killer in you?
No, I always played physical, even though I was an offensive defenseman. Even as a kid growing up, played defense my whole life, and played a very physical form of the game all the way up. And then I really didn't have my first fight in hockey till first year, with the Saskatoon Blades. That was just when the fighting part started, because there was no really rules for fighting, so you didn't do it pre junior hocky.
Yeah, that makes sense. No one did, though. You get booted out for a tournament or whatnot, but
I think it's so listen, you were drafted first overall as a defenseman, and they turn you into a forward. Who drafts a guy first overall and says, hey, we're going to change your position? What was your reaction when they told you, hey, we're going to make you a forward?
Well, didn't really think much of it. I probably maybe had an idea, but didn't think about it. I made the World Junior team that year as a defenseman / forward. I got called in. I thought I was getting cut at World Juniors at 7 a.m. phone call, and went in, and they said, if you want to make the team, will you play some forward and defense at World Juniors, because we want to take extra defensemen over to Finland for the tournament. And it was actually John Miner with the Regina Pats and myself that played half forward and half defense. And so maybe the Toronto Maple Leafs, they just scouted the World Junior tournament. That's how I got drafted. But so they seen the 3 forward games I played. And I didn't know I was going to be a forward until I got to my first training camp. Walked in the first day. You looked at the names on the doors, and it said left wing with Courtnall and Lehman. That's when I found out I was a forward.
Isn't it nice though? Like, think about it, Wendel. Like, You're playing D, you got to pick your spots, but when you're playing forward, you're in control. I'm going to get on that forecheck. You can't hide from me when I'm playing forward. Like, that was the best thing ever for you, right?
It didn't hurt. Like I said, I used to back check a little bit, and I emphasize a little bit. And I used to always, whenever we got scoring games, I'd tell Dave Ellett, I said, I had my man. And he'd go, were they sitting in the 4th row by the red line? Because I didn't see you back here.
That's a Bobby Plager move right there.
But no, it's probably an easier break-in winger versus defenseman. A lot of good defensemen, unless they're real superstars. they don't become really good till about they're 24, 25 years old. And, that's 6-7 years in the league. And then you put the whole game together. And defense is to be really good in defense, you're putting a lot of things together because, the players are so good and the teams are so well coached.
So how would you define yourself as a player? Were you a fighter who could score, a goal scorer who could fight, a hitter? Like, what were you when you talk about the identity of a Wendel Clark,
I was a power forward that could score and then probably fought too much.
Yeah, that's what I say. There you go.
That was kind of that. I was a power forward that could score and then got involved too much. And really back in our day, if you played on a losing team, fighters fight a lot because you're changing the game. You're down 2-0 again. You know what I mean? Every time, if you play on a winning team and you look at the history of guys' records, they didn't fight a lot, even if they're really tough, because they never had to. The coach says, you don't need to get in a fight. We're already winning 2-0, so don't let the other team start anything.
Yeah.
So it's really the players that played on teams that weren't winning a lot early that you've seen their penalty minutes a lot higher, because they're doing something to try to change the game up to hopefully wake up their own team or get on the other team.
The Cam and Strick podcast is brought to you by CarShield. Nothing more frustrating, Cam, than when that engine light comes on and right off the bat, you're going to have to spend thousands of dollars to repair your vehicle. Call 800-857-2481. Mention the promo code CAM or visit carshield.com and use the code CAM to save 10%. Yeah. That's carshield.com. A deductible may apply. Save yourself money. Sign up and get your coverage now with carshield.com. Now back to the interview.
So you did. I like how you described that, though. You were a power forward that probably fought a little too much, which you probably did, though, Wendel. And then when you did fight, you're not just like, I'm going to hold on and I might throw. No, you're going toe to toe and you're getting caught and you're catching guys. And were you ever like, did any of your teammates or your coaches sit you down like, okay, you're scoring goals, you're crushing guys. I don't need you to find Ben fucking Wilson. I don't need you to go Proby either, although he's playing a lot of minutes as well. Like, did they ever sit you down or you just couldn't help yourself?
No, never got sat down. That was probably one of the things had I maybe started somewhere else. But really, we were a team with a little bit of talent, really. We made the playoffs my first 2 years. We played 2 rounds. But we only ever had like 70 points. We were, that Chuck Norris division that was, as long as you're the best, as long as you're top 4 teams you got in, doesn't mean your 4th place team was a good one. But we get in the playoffs and because we had a lot of talent. We weren't put together very well. But the teams were always pretty good. But I like playing physical and getting in fights wasn't a bad thing. I was just I like doing it. So I can't say everybody I shouldn't have been doing it, but it's also the personality of players. When coaches or fans think, well, this player should change, he also then may not be as good at what you want him to be good at, because there's that whole personality thing that brings it for the player. He needs to play that same way. If Marchand doesn't play with an edge and get in everybody's kitchen, Marchand's probably average. But because he gets himself going and gets on everybody's nerves, it gets him that's all part of him being him that makes him that good a player.
Tom Wilson, too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the stories of your back injury and what you had to endure just to play. And from what I understand, we're talking every single day, like not every other day, once or twice a week, but every day, 3 to 4 hours of rehab just to get yourself ready to play. What started the back injury? How'd you hurt your back?
Well, really playing physical like I did, going through junior, then starting the first 2 years in the NHL, and we all as players play through bumps and bruises and small injuries. We've all done it. I'm no different than anybody else, and really we didn't have the medical staff that you do today. So you'd be playing through stuff. So you play through a sore groin and you play through a partially separated shoulder and a broken hand, and sooner or later it was my back that just said, okay, that's enough. And I was, 20 years old, into my 2nd year, started my 3rd. And it was all the injuries put together that was the straw that broke the camel's back kind of thing. And then from then on, I ended up meeting a great trainer and became our Leafs trainer, Chris Broadhurst. And him and I did 4 hours a day for the next 8 years, 2 hours at 7 a.m. and 2 hours at 7 p.m. He would work on me before and after during the day, and then he'd be the trainer for the rest of the day for the teams. So it was his hard work that was able to keep me together before I started getting traded.
Wow, so we're talking 4 hours a day, 2 a days essentially of rehab. What did the rehab entail? What was he doing on your back for 2 hours in the morning, then 2 hours at night?
Basically, it was getting everything at the start, getting it all firing again, working again. I did lots of deep acupuncture, a lot of manipulation, a lot of chiropractic stuff. I did a little bit of everything. He could do everything, and really it was just getting the body wound down and going back to its old way. When you play through a lot of injuries, you start to cheat in what you do, and your body learns the cheating habits, and then you don't stay healthy for a long time. So I was really just once I got back playing, was all of it was just staying maintenance and relaxed and getting the body to settle down so it could play.
How's your head? Did you go through any bad head injuries? I know you gave a couple out, I'm sure, but anything bad going toe to toe with all those guys all those years?
Fighting, I don't think I ever got. You don't really get a concussion getting hit in the face. We're meant to fall in our face. We're human beings. We're meant to fall in the face first. It's the side hits we get from the side, I think, and that's really concussions are more from the side of the head than they are from the front. And so I had one really bad concussion. Nobody ever really knew about it. I was my last exhibition game in Quebec, my first year. Then we had the lockout. We missed 40 games. We didn't really start till January, I think mid-January something. And so I had Ken Cleek caught me. I put myself in a bad position, taking a shot, going down the wing way late. He hit me. My helmet fell off, but my head hit the sideboards. Oh. I was out, and then out and there and out, and I spent the night in the hospital. But then there was no season after that till January. So had the season started on time, I'd have missed 40 games with a concussion.
Oh,
I wouldn't have. I was in a dark room for the first 2 weeks. Basically, I didn't leave my apartment. I couldn't turn the lights on, couldn't turn the TV on. You'd be in a cold sweat as soon as any of that started to happen. So, wow. Yeah, I understand what all the guys go through with the head injuries.
It's scary, man.
You know, but it's like I asked Cam this before, and Cam says, you know, he kind of enjoyed fighting. We had George the Rock on who said he hated fighting. Like, were you ever scared, Wendel? Like, did you ever go into a game being like, man, I'm just nervous, I don't feel like doing this again? Or were you just up for the challenge every night?
Basically, I don't think I believe George when he says he didn't like it, because he did it a lot when he was younger. Yeah. So it usually when tough guys say they don't like it, it's time to retire. And that might be the age 24, it might be 26. And then if they start holding on until they're 30, yeah, the last 6 years they maybe didn't like it, because there's some young big guys coming every night that want to go, and you've already been there, done that, and you're sore, and that's a young guy. And we all understand how we feel when we're 18 to 22. It's all about go. And then when you get older, it hurts more. So that's when the guys start saying they don't like it. But it's a part of what they did, so they had to keep doing it. But really, the nerves was all part of it. If you're fighting the Proberts or the McSorleys or the Ben Wilsons of the world, of course you're nervous. They're the big guys in the game, but that's probably what made you do better.
Well, that's
really some of the worst fights that I might have done would have been the guys that you didn't know were tough or you didn't know fought, and then you weren't ready for the fight, so you didn't have yourself ready. So that's all part of it. It's like a goal scorer. You know, you haven't scored in 10 games. There's some pressure on a goal scorer too. He's got nerves going through him that, you know, I got to be doing something.
Yeah, I know about that, Wendel. But no, I would.
Cam never scored.
Thank you, Andy. But Wendel, I don't know. I might disagree with you on this. I truly do believe that George the Rock didn't like the fight. And I think that he was pressured into it because he's 6'4" and he's built like a brick shithouse. And all of a sudden he tags a couple guys and he gets a little bit of confidence. But I do think that he truly did not want to go in there and do that. And I think I could speak for a bunch of guys the same way. Reed Lowe mentions it all the time. He's a Blues alumni, as you know, and he says, I fucking hated it. And so I don't know, Wendel. I think some guys like us, we like to do it, but some of these big boys, they really didn't.
No, but they had to understand where their paycheck was coming from, or you don't play hockey.
That's right.
Because none of the guys you mentioned would have been playing the game if they didn't fight.
That's for sure. That's for sure, Losey. And we're going to send that clip to Losey right now too.
Did you? What about Twister? You and Twister ever cross paths?
No, Twister's dad used to be a police officer in Kelvington, and Twister, imagine this. Twister, my younger brother Kerry, and Chaser were on the same team with the Saskatoon Blades. Imagine playing that team.
Oh my God.
With a race for Chase. I got Chaser.
But and Twister's a lot like probably he took it past it. I think he loved fighting. That wasn't just liking it; he loved it.
He was
good at it. He threw the bombs like Kosher did.
Oh yeah. What made Kosher so tough though? Like he was, I think, towards the end of his career when I first started covering the NHL, and I've been around him in a couple of charity events. I've seen him throw a chair in the hallway when he was on the bench with the Detroit Red Wings back in the day. But he just has that look where you just know he's tough and his hands are big. Like, what made that guy so tough?
He had a right arm and right hand that was twice as big as his left arm and his left hand. And I don't know whether he grew up a steel guy and his dad was a welder and handling it, but he was one and had a very good balance about him, and he could throw heavy. And like he says, I think he explained it one time in an interview, he was punching for the back of the guy's head.
Wow.
He was going through. He wasn't just fighting to hit and then stop. It was going right through. He probably threw the heaviest punch that I ever seen. I got to see, growing up with Joey in Kelvington and minor hockey all the time, and then playing in Saskatoon, because you think fighting is kind of nice in NHL back in the day. That old junior hockey loop where in junior hockey, nobody in the NHL, because guys were tough, guys learned how to play offensive and defensive and fighting a little bit. But in junior hockey, that was just straight offense or get knocked out. It was a little different. It was when the guys were learning how to do it.
Cam and Strick podcast here for our boy Dan Bellman with Bellman.com.
Yeah, baby.
You need some new wheels? Why not get a Cadillac, a Buick, a GMC? Yeah. Head out to Troy today. And again, don't forget about Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram right across the street.
No doubt.
Right there in Troy, Missouri. Visit them online. Check out their new selection, the pre-owned selection, the best service you will find anywhere in the country. Bellman.com. BEHLMANN.com. Get yourself some new wheels in time for the summer.
Yeah.
Now back to the interview.
Do you think the fighting kind of evolved in a way? Like, okay, so Joey Kosher throws bombs, throws them downtown. But once you get past the 2000s and you get into the early 2000s, like every tough guy, unless you're 6'6", can throw with both hands. So did you think the fighting kind of evolved, even when you played a little bit, to where, okay, if you got a big right, I'm going to tie that up and you're going to have to trade lefts with me. And how's your left? Where we could ask Dave Mackey how your left is. You could throw both. I mean, that takes you to a different level. I think the fighting did evolve. Do you agree?
Oh, no, fighting evolved. And because of fighting evolving, that's why they basically got rid of fighting. When we grew up and playing hockey in the early days, right up until probably almost 2000, if you were a tough guy fighting, you were just a naturally tough guy fighting. Well, then it got to the stage where these guys were getting bigger and bigger, and now they were actually training to fight. Mm-hmm. So their off season wasn't about how do I get better feet and how do I score more. It's how do I be tougher, because the guys I got to meet every day are doing this kind of training. And so tough guys started to get bigger, stronger, and I bet you the NHL started to get a little nervous going, oh my gosh, look what's going on here. These guys aren't training in the off season to be hockey players. Mm-hmm. They're training to fight the competitor and number 18th guy in the other lineup. So they definitely got bigger, stronger, and started taking their craft to a new level, because they took boxing and they took this and they took that. Where we grew up, we didn't take any of that. We just kind of learned on the job kind of thing. And then I think, the guys started getting, not the guys, but the league started getting scared of what may happen. And then you got technology started coming into the game, and guys were texting each other, we're going to fight in the second period.
Yeah, my agent fucked me on that.
Which has nothing to do with the game. So that's what really hurt the fighting in the game is it was all of a sudden it was a sideshow. It didn't just happen. It wasn't something that happened on the ice. Then, you'd see two guys square off, and then they set the gloves down. They put the stick and the helmet on the gloves. It was a whole 3-minute production at center ice, and it started to take away from the game. And that's, I think, with the NHL. I don't think anybody ever minds two guys that all of a sudden get mad and they go. that's fine. Because it's when they started doing all the stage stuff that it really started getting taken away from the game.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Said,
No, it honestly true. And you know, I remember that because then the social media comes around and maybe some agents would, that's why I just said my agent texted Chris Barch one time, said, hey, Cam's coming in. He was doing my Twitter. That kind of blew up. So there was a lot of stage to it. But I will say this, Wendel, they weren't just boxing. Like I did that too. Like you're hockey fight training. We were like specifically hockey fight training in the summer while you still skate and do your weightlifting too. So yeah, man, like guys were in it to throw both hands, and they were getting bigger and bigger, and there's some nasty knockouts, and it was staged. I mean, It honestly was.
Wendel, who could play that you see in today's game that you say, wow, this guy could really make it in our era? Not from a skating or a skill standpoint, but just the overall package and the mentality to play old school hockey.
Well, I think there's a few guys that always play. If you're going toughness or straight skill guys, because if you're looking at the power forward, and Wilson in Washington is definite guy that has Washington plays that much better when he's on his game, doing what he does best for that hockey team. And so there's a power forward, but really skill guys today. And I always tell people, because we have that as ambassadors, we're talking about the game a lot. I said there's a lot of collisions on the ice today that maybe they don't fall down or don't, but they were pretty good collisions. But those are pretty good athletes out there, and they absorb it and keep moving, but they feel it in a lot of it, and especially once game 82 is over and the playoffs start, the game always changes a bit and gets like the old school.
This might be a goofy question, but I am curious on it. Is there anybody that you can compare yourself to? Maybe even in your era, maybe even a little bit for you, maybe even now. Is there one guy that kind of sticks out and said, you know what? We played just like each other. I can't really think of anybody, but is there anybody that comes to mind with you?
No, I don't. I think we all try to, you do what you kind of do as a player. You figure yourself out, but you had the Rick Tocketts and the Flyers and Cam Neely scoring 50, but could play a physical game and was a pretty good fighter, and guys like that. Well, Proby got 20-30 playing with a great time with Eisenman a couple times, But really, it was you were just trying to be whatever you could do. And I always thought growing up, the Gordie Howes, the Mark Messiers. I always said, if you put 5 Mark Messiers on a team on the ice and 5 Wayne Gretzky's, who's going to win? Mm. Wayne Gretzky is maybe the most talented guy, but by the time Mark finished beating him up with that talent, they win. The power forward will always end up beating the top skill guy in a hockey game, because he can take the game to a different spot where the skill guy can't go.
Interesting right there.
How much did you appreciate sticking up for your teammates? I mean, everyone talks about when Gilmore got hit by McSorley, and I mean, this is, in the playoffs, right? It's deep in the playoffs in the conference final, and you guys are just going toe-to-toe in the first game of the series. Like, what do you remember about that whole situation there, Wendel? How much does that still stand out in terms of the memory for you?
Well, the whole playoff year, because we weren't supposed to. It basically started back with Detroit. We beat them out in 7, kind of upset them, and then I got kind of run in the ground during the whole playoff series before we started winning it, because I wouldn't fight Probert in the series. Mm-hmm. And coaches have their game plans. Well, our whole game plan was I was not allowed to fight Probert at any time. Pat Burns said that. So we go down the first game, I think 7-2 and 8-3. The first 2 games we lose, and I'm not starting anything, and so that the media starts talking, but by the end we win the series, so everything's all good. Well, you get to the LA series, he didn't say one thing about not fighting McSorley. So soon as Dougie got hit, that was our best player. So Marty was doing what he was doing. We were winning the game by 2 or 3 goals by then, and we were going to win that night. And he was probably coming across, going to send a message to his guys, going, "We're not done this." And he takes a hit at Dougie. Now, I've said about 20 years later, I figured it out. I said, I don't know why I went at Marty. I should have just stayed over the bench and punched Wayne. He took a shot at our best player. Why didn't I go with the little guy on the bench?
Yeah. You wouldn't even got a penalty.
Nobody ever did that, though, Wendel.
One guy hit him, and he didn't play another game.
Yeah.
We weren't smart enough, but Marty and I had battled right from – Marty was my first 2 fights in the NHL as a rookie in training camp. My first 2 fights in the NHL were McSorley with Edmonton. Wow. I don't know if you didn't look that I was drafted overall. I wasn't going for the tough guy. That was Bob McGill was on our team to do that. But that's where I wasn't very smart right from the beginning.
Yeah, but you mentioned that Detroit series and Pat Burns, and you guys were getting raked over pretty good by the media, right? Just because you guys got pounded the first couple of games of that series. Like, how difficult was that for you and a couple of the other veteran guys who maybe brought that physical element just to take it and not really be able to say what the coach was telling you and not give away the game plan?
Yeah, no, it was tough. You're sitting there doing the interviews and they're asking why, and then you're going. It's like when you've played on a team sport that's got the team game plan. It's basically you stick together, and we spun our way out of it. We won the next 3 games, and heck, we lost game 6 really bad, or game 6 we lost bad in Toronto again, and then we won game 7 in overtime. But all the games we won were tight. But you as a team you stick. That's the game plan that the coaches give us, and we were able to pull it out with some, great play. Like Dougie was our guy. I always said that Dougie isn't the best player ever, but that 2 years in the NHL that he was running up the scoring for us, and he was our leader scoring in points and the team. I think he was the best player in the NHL for that 2-year window there. What he did for our team.
Wow.
Not just as an offensive player, but I think he won the defensive player of the year or whatever. The 1 year as well. So what he did for our group, he was a 2-year window there. He was unbelievable.
Brought that physicality too, man. He was in your face, yapping, doing everything he can. Brian Sutter type, kind of just leader, mean, not big. Set this up for us, though, Wendel. You're probably one of the most popular guys in the NHL. Well, you are when you're playing. You're in Toronto. Like, you have a great game. You go toe-to-toe with a big boy. It's a Saturday night in Toronto. What are you doing? Can you do anything, Wendel? Like, are you that fucking popular? You can't even walk down the street. How do you even enjoy yourself in that moment?
Well, you just learn to go to where we all had spurting spots we could go to when you're playing in a city like Toronto. And I tell even in today's game with it's so much different with the social media and everything is you guys got to go where you don't go where the in spot is on Saturday night. In the city of Toronto, you're finding your own split where other guys are hanging, but it's all part of playing in a great city. When you play in Toronto, it's a great spot to play in. So there's many spots and hiding spots for guys would have went out.
Listen, you mentioned Pat Burns. I mean, you had a crazy coach before that, in Coach Brophy. Like, what was he like as a coach? And did you like Burns? Like, who had the most impact on Wendel Clark?
No, I think Burnsy had a lot of impact on our team. He was a tough cop. He was a cop, and he started in Montreal coaching, then came to Toronto, and he had the tough mentality. I always say that type of coach, the coaches that coach at the 110% of intensity level, they win for 2-3 years, and then they're fired, and they go to the next team, and they do the same thing with that team. And Burnsy did it in Montreal, Toronto, then Jersey, and Boston, and They know they're getting fired in 2-3 years because they're pushing at 110%. That's the intensity level they coach at. And in real life, there's no such thing as 110%. There's 100% because at that extra 10%, you hit burnout level on your guys you're coaching. But that doesn't make them a bad person. That's just they know how they have to coach to succeed. So that's what they do. And they know they're getting fired. They know they have a window to push the players' buttons, and then they know they're going to be onto a new team again. And that's the way there's a group of guys that coached through that era were like that.
Yeah, it's a revolving door, and we still see it to this day. And, even being a captain being in the spotlight, you're the captain, you have to deal with the media. And, again, it's not social media, and I don't know how you would even react to these living these days, Wendel, but – being the captain of Toronto and having to step up to the media every single day, I guess it's a lot easier for a guy like you because you bring it every single night. But explain just just what you had to deal with on and off the ice being a leader of that team in the Mecca.
No, it's all part of it. And it's probably easier. I watch even to this day, it's probably easier getting drafted and starting as an 18-year-old in Toronto because you get off the ground and you go, that's how it is in the Mecca right here where there's so many people and so much media. You start dealing with it right at 18 because a lot of times I'll see players get traded here at 26, 27, 28 years old, and they've spent 10 years in the South, and they've had 3 people to deal with every second week. They get thrown into a mosh pit. Sometimes they don't understand what it's like every day up here in Canada, and especially Toronto. So they have a harder time adjusting than the 18-year-old does. But really, and today they're protected pretty well. You only have to have 2-3 guys there that are talking to the media. Where we were all in our stalls post-game, every single player had to sit and wait for the reporters to go through. That was what the team wanted. So every player sat through it. And really, if you're a player, and I always tell our players, just say the usual lines, because they'll stop interviewing you. You know, guys,
be a robot.
Don't be interesting. Interesting guys say the wrong things, and then they're not liked by the team anyway.
Yep.
So you come out and you say the generic lines that don't get you in trouble, and you pretty soon the interviews are all pretty short because they're going, oh, no quote here tonight, no quote here tonight. So then by the end of the year, they stop coming to you anyway.
Yeah.
But it's really the guys that truly do the interviews at the end of a game is the coach does it, the captain probably does it, and whoever had a great game. And there might be one other guy. And then if there's no good quotes there, then the media are going to the guys that they always know they can get a quote out of. But really, it's the same in every town. I think whoever has the best game, and the leaders speak a little bit, but you just keep it team oriented always in your answers, and I don't think you get in much trouble.
Well, now we know why Austin Matthews never says anything interesting.
No shit.
Right? And you must have told him, just don't be interesting. Listen, I had to remind myself, just doing my research for this interview, world-class research here,
as you should,
Wendel, for this interview.
Oh.
Just how good of a shot you had, man. I mean, you could just snap the puck. Your slap shot was devastating as well, and you almost killed Curtis Joseph, and I think that was in the playoffs, wasn't it? And I remember you talking to Curtis Joseph in the handshake line afterwards. What did you tell him, and how much have you guys talked about that now that he's a Toronto legend as well?
Well, no, basically that was, I think we were winning 6-0 or 6-1 at the time.
Right in the face.
Oh, God.
And so that shot got away from me because Basil McRae come over, wanted to fight. He goes, what are you doing, taking his head off? I said, I actually was just a bad aim. And so I was basically apologizing to Curtis at the end of the game.
Andy Strickland and Cam Jansen here for you for GadgetBuyback.com. Gadget Lab, they got a store here locally if you're in St. Louis, 5541 Telegraph Road. Here's the deal. You got an old phone, maybe a cracked tablet. Maybe it's perfect, but it's a little bit older. Turn it in right now. www.gadgetbuyback.com. Upgrade your devices, phones, computers, watches.
Anything.
Doesn't have to be Apple either.
No.
Get those tablets turned in. Again, www.gadgetbuyback.com, 877-772-8880. Now back to the interview.
Yeah. He's a nice guy, Andy.
Like
That's what he does when
did
you have an unbelievable
Did you apologize
shot.
to Bruce Bell, too, after
we're going to get into that.
Basically sent him into next year, or no?
No, I never talked to Bruce, but about 3 years ago, I bumped into Bruce's son in the airport coming out of Nova Scotia or something, and he brought it up. I didn't realize he introduced to me who he was. So.
Oh my God, that hit, Wendel. What was he doing? He was just skating around. Oh my God, I remember that. I was with my dad, and we both stared at the TV like, what the fuck?
Oh my God.
It was so, and then like I think Zombo, we love Rick Zombo, we know all the alumni. I remember Zombo comes up and he sees it, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and act like I didn't notice this.
Did you ever get suspended?
I got suspended once, I think, we had a line brawl with Chicago, and I can't remember if it was Smith on defense or something that we started. It was always but never really. That was the only suspension I had. But no, he had his head down.
Yeah,
he did, man.
And he come around the net
Wendel,
too.
he had his head down.
You punched John Casey in the back of the head too.
I would have gave you 2 games for that.
Were you nervous when Igor Kravchuk skated up to you? I didn't know if he was going to go here or what there.
No, usually you're on. If you do anything to a goalie, you're pretty much, your antennas are fully up. Something might be happening, but it was back until about 1996. I want to say 5 or 6 when the goalie rules changed. If the goalie, and I think it should go back to that, but they make too much money, so the league wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But if you're out of your crease, you're free game. You're like one of the 5 guys that's on the ice because your goalies would stop leaving the crease to play the puck then. Right now they're protected, so then they go out and they stand there a little longer. They become a decoy for the defenseman that they leave the puck for. But if they were free game, they wouldn't be hanging around out there.
Hey, go Google Cam Jansen and Carey Price, okay? Carey Price thought he was a defenseman.
I fucked him up. He came out. It is what it is. It wasn't dirty. I didn't get suspended. And that was in like kind of today's game. Wendel, we got a couple more for you. I know you're a busy man. I know you want to kick your feet up and stare out to that lovely, lovely lake that you're on right now. But did anybody scare you? You always look so fearless, and I always said this, and I know you have a kid that I believe just got drafted as well, and my dad would always send like little cards to my dad, right? These teams that you try to make, right, Wendel? And my dad, there's 3 things. Hey, describe your kid. And my dad would always put fearless on there. And I know it was somewhat unique that no one else did that, but I kind of was, and so are you. But did anybody fucking scare you as far as like, oh, boy, I know Proby threw hard, I get all that, but anybody that maybe wasn't as well known that you're like, God damn, this guy he rubs me the wrong way because he throws lefts or whatever the case is?
No, you know what? A guy I battled with and became a teammate with during the 90s there, the good run. Bob Rouse and I battled right from junior. He was on defense in Lethbridge, and then he was in Washington and Minnesota, and then he was in Toronto. And we battled all the time, even in the NHL, because I became a left winger. He was a right defenseman, and he didn't take anything I would dish out. So we'd end up, and he was a big, strong guy. Mm-hmm. And then, he didn't, and fought everybody, but didn't like fighting. And he was even a better defenseman in the playoffs because he'd play mean. But him and I had some great battles, and nobody ever talks about Bobby Rouse being a tough, strong guy, but he really was a tough, big, strong guy.
Hey, I know you're an ambassador for the Maple Leafs, but still, like, what do you make out of that organization right now and that team? They've changed coaches. They went through the Babcock era. They obviously have moved on to a new coach. They've got some superstar talent. People always complain maybe they don't play physical enough. And just over the years, I mean, you go back to 1993, you guys went to the conference final. They haven't had a ton of playoff success since then. Like, what should we make out of the Toronto Maple Leafs as they sit today?
Well, as I do a lot of calls now, I say, well, maybe we're a great playoff team in August, September, because we weren't in the last few years in April. So maybe if the season gets back going, we'll be a great August playoff team. But really, we have to get that, because I think we had three times in the playoffs and lost the first round here recently. Mm-hmm. And basically the guys have to figure, the coach can't tell them, somebody from the outside can't say this is what you have to do. They have to almost live it. And as soon as our team gets through that first playoff round and they win it, I think they'll understand, without knowing they understand, what it takes to win in the playoffs. And they have to get that first playoff win under their belt. And it's always harder. I know that first playoff round in the playoffs is harder to win than the team that's trying to win their fourth round. Because, and especially in today's game, the team they're playing, one plays 8 or whatever, and each side, that 8th place team's only 4 points worse than the first place team. The fans might think, oh, they're in 8th place, but the teams on the ice know that's not a bad hockey team. And those are tough teams you're playing in the first round, and the energy levels all over. We just have to figure out how to finish. Because we had a couple of those games going. We should have won Boston series in the 6th game. We give it away, and they beat us game 7. We had it home in the 6th. So I think it's just up to the guys to figure, learn how to do it. And once they've learned it, I think we'll be to the races.
You still have that mustache? You keep that Fu Manchu or what?
Please tell me yes.
I always have a mustache. It's the only place I can grow hairs on my face.
I got a sponsor for you, Wendel.
Exactly, we do. Hey, man,
you're
listen,
the man, dude.
Can't thank you enough for doing this, Wendel. We appreciate it. What else are you doing now? Now what do you have to do the rest of the week? You got plans? You have stuff going on?
He's an
or
ambassador,
what?
Andy.
The only thing is either I go right and I go to the lake and boat, or I go left and I'm golfing.
There you go.
Well, you deserve it.
I'm going to go left.
Smart move.
You deserve it, man, and everybody loves you, and we appreciate you coming on the pod, Wendel. You're the man, dude. You just absolutely are.
All good, guys. Thank you.
All right, appreciate it, Wendel.
Boy.
Take
right
care,
on.
man. Wendel Clark.
Wendell, baby.
Dude. He was cool as shit, huh?
Fuck, he was just down to earth, man.
Just down to earth. Just a good guy. That's why people say, get this guy on, get that guy on. We like players from his era. We like the former player, man, because they're happy. They tell stories. They're in a good spot, good place in their life.
Fuck, he made a good point, too, where he goes, the tough guys in the league adapted to a point where it was so excessive as far as, like, my generation is concerned, and I did the same thing, and I told him I was boxing and hockey fight training. We trained so much to hockey fight to where it ruined it to a point where it was too much, it was too technical and too... thought out to where
it was
a boxing
man.
No, it was a
Organic
boxing match.
Fights.
It was a fucking UFC match.
Yeah.
It was a UFC match on skates without kicking and choke holding and whatnot.
It was such a great point because
I never heard that before.
No, and I
makes
said
sense.
that to you afterwards. I said, "Wow,
Yeah.
how interesting was that he said fighting changed in the NHL." Where guys started training to fight as opposed to guys training to play hockey.
There it is.
Who also fought.
Well, you do
and
both.
then guys started getting hurt, and it just became almost too dangerous, dude.
The knockouts were hardcore.
Yes.
Hardcore. And it wasn't, look, I'll give you I used to skate in the morning, weight lift, and then skate, and depending on the month. So either you skate's the most important later on in August, but in like June and July, you work out first and you skate, and then 2-3 times a week, I would hockey fight train after that for just 30-40 minutes. So all it takes 30, but you learn how to throw your lefts. I learned how to get my groove and your balance and all that shit, and you're technical, and it made you just fucking scary. And I was 5'11". Imagine like Bugard and Gratz and the fucking big boys of the league at the time doing that shit, and they did, and it just makes you a UFC fighter on skates without the kicking, and then maybe that's what caused the transition to not having that anymore because they were so kind of staged and I don't know, kind of
pound for pound though, dude.
Wendel
Clark, man. He threw to hurt you. I thought it was interesting what he said about Joey Kosher too.
Down
man.
the pipe, baby.
He said Joey Kosher, who's his cousin.
Yeah.
Like all like the.
Want to know the difference between Joey Kosher and Wendel Clark? And fighting wise, guess.
Okay.
No. Guess.
Okay, I'll tell you.
I'm asking
because he said Joey Kosher.
What's the difference?
Would fight to hit the back of your head.
They both did.
Like he said, and whatever.
They both did. What's the difference? What's the difference?
Right and lefts? I don't know. You tell me.
Wendel threw lefts, man.
Okay.
Joey Kosher never threw lefts.
Did you study fighters?
Goddamn right.
When did you start doing that?
In juniors. And
what were you watching? Because you were a fan, or are you trying to take things from different people?
No, I'm trying to figure them out and how they did it.
What fighter in NHL history had the most influence on you?
Well, Twister, because in
terms of how you fought.
Oh, good call on that.
Technically,
that's a good question. I took my style from a bunch of different guys. I took my style from Twister, who you stand back and wait, but I also took my style from Taidomi, who switched on you. You're gonna throw hard on me? You're going to throw hard on me with my arms locked on you? You're going to throw over my head because I'm going to duck. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to switch on you, boy. I'm going to throw over me. I'm going to take my left, and now I'm going to catch you with one. And I could throw both because I trained myself.
Could you hurt somebody with your left?
Goddamn right.
You could throw just as hard with your left as you could your right.
Fuck yes.
Really?
Yes. That comfortable. I was that comfortable in my last years of hockey. My absolute. I
like,
lefts all the time.
Would it throw you off if somebody else threw left?
No, let's go. Let's go. I'm more comfortable with my right because I know how to grab you with my left better than I know how to grab you with my right. How's that? Mm-hmm. So when I grab you with my left, I know how to grab and turn.
When you square off,
yeah.
What are you looking at?
Depends on what they're doing. Mm-hmm. If it's Brian McGrath and I'm right on right, baby, let's go. Right on right because you ain't throwing lefts. If you're Aaron Downey, or you're Rick Rippon, or you're fucking a couple other guys that know how to throw both, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go.
Bull.
Bullsy's going right. Bullsy's going right, but he's a big lanky guy.
You guys had some good bouts, huh?
Oh, yeah, real good.
He was tough, dude.
He was tougher than shit. Handsome little bugger, too. Shit, he should
What's he doing now?
I think he works for Columbus.
Does he?
Good dude. I heard he's a fucking
really
great
good
guy.
dude.
Yeah.
Jody Shelley, you fight him?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I did.
He's a big boy.
He's a big righty. Again, a big righty. Big righty. Mm-hmm. Now, again, so if a big righty's fighting me, I'm going to go right on right against him. Let's go. Because he's too tall for me to go left on my right. I can't trade my left against his right because he's 6'4", and he's going to string me out, and he's going to catch me before I catch him.
They played for Columbus in the era where it just felt like the Blues played Columbus every other game.
Day.
It was like, are we done seeing Columbus for the year?
And another thing, like I like Columbus. Columbus is actually a really cool town. Cool hockey town. It's more of a college football town, let's be honest here. But when you go to Columbus, there's not much to do, but it's real clean and nice and no crime, and I like that.
Dude, I stayed 10 days there
but you're
one
there,
time
oh, that
during the 2004
That sucks.
USA Hockey World Cup. No, it wasn't bad, dude.
Really?
Because Chelios, Madonna, Hall, Kachuk, Waite.
Okay, fine. Take
Young.
them out of the fucking picture then.
They would go to the same place every night, and I'd go there. They'd pay for every drink.
Yeah, but you
And,
could do
and
that.
just,
you could do it in Salem,
but I would
Missouri.
just chill by myself, though.
But that's not Columbus. You're talking about Hall of Famers, you fucking idiot.
But it wasn't that bad.
Okay. Well, because they were there.
Holly hated Ron Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
He's like getting benched.
I'm just saying, Columbus is a cool place to play. It's actually clean and cool and shit like that. But it just wasn't fun to be there 12 times a year. I mean, fuck.
All right, well, Wendell was good, dude.
Wendell was
and it's
fucking
always
awesome.
fun having
Wendell.
those guys on, man.
We
We'll get
love
more
him.
people
We love
on
you,
from
buddy.
that era, including Joey Kosher, man. We're going to get him on.
Yeah, let's
you
get
mentioned
his
Aaron Downey. We're going to get his ass on, too.
Downs, too. We got a good fight. We're going to do another fight clip of me and him, by the way. It was a good one. And Barchi.
Wanna pick his brain
and
anyway.
Tucker and all them. Yeah.
See what's up with Aaron Downey. All right. As always, the Cam and Strick podcast brought to you by CarShield. You saw Cam's video. If not, check that out.
Oh,
Again,
fucking sexy.
800-857-2481. Mention the promo code CAM. You'll save 10%. Also, gadgetbuyback.com.
Oh, yeah.
Your phone's all cracked. It's messed up.
Fucking Hoosier.
Don't be a
You're
Hoosier. Don't be a Hoosier. Get yourself a new phone.
I'm single and my phone's cracked. You ain't getting laid.
Hey, if you're a business owner, hook your employees up.
Yeah.
And they'll pay top dollar for it.
No.
They pay good money,
Slowing
man.
your fucking company down if you have bullshit technology.
GadgetBuyback.com. Check out the local store in Oakville by going to GadgetLabMobile.com, 877-772-8880. And, of course, Bellman.com, BEHLMANN.com. In Troy, they got the Cadillac, the Buick GMC across the street, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Hook yourself up.
Yeah.
Say what up to our boy, Dan Bellman.
Boy.
And, of course, Cope 24.
Hey,
Changing
girl.
our parenting experience. Cope 24 with our girl, Renee.
Yeah, girl. What's up? We love you.
We love you, Renee.
We love you.
All right. For Cam Jansen, I'm Andy Strickland. This has been the Cam and Strick Podcast, episode number 52. Again, follow us on all our social media channels, at Cam and Strick Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Check us out on Facebook as well. And you can listen
YouTube.
to us everywhere. iTunes, Spotify,
fucking
YouTube,
everywhere.
Google Play.
If you can't find us in fucking, you're slow.
You got some serious
Yeah,
issues.
yeah.
Okay? Appreciate all the support. Until next time, this has been the Cam and Strick Podcast.